Thanks.
Glad to see your face.
I shaved today.
This shit's fire.
What is up, everybody?
Whoa,
Welcome to
that
another.
intro got me dancing, dude.
Dude, you like that, man? It's
I do,
awesome,
I do.
man. I love it too, man. I did that. So big shout out to Jules. He's the one that did that whole
know.
thing, which is absolutely amazing. And speaking of Jules, where are you at, Jules? Right?
Yeah, no kidding, man. He needs
Yeah,
to be
man.
on these things. I'm getting really annoyed that he's got to, be a proper adult and actually have a job and go do things and not be able to attend this stuff. But
Man, dude,
I also, man, I keep meaning to send you a new version of the Pin the Gas just for this podcast that sits up in the corner because the little is black, I think, on that version. So it hides in the back.
Okay.
I'll get that sent out to you.
Absolutely. Yes, let's
Get that
go.
fixed up.
Absolutely. Listen, you guys, you already know this episode has been brought to you by Bison. So if anybody out there, whether you're a street rider, track day rider, you're in need for a suit or a new suit, look no further. Do not buy an off the rack suit. Trust me, ask anybody in the industry that's ever bought a custom suit and look no further than Bison. They are absolutely some of the best people in the whole world that you're ever going to meet. Hey, listen, any custom suit you want, any colors, any design, any logos you want, from an undersuit to your chest protector to your gloves, they have it all. You can even get t-shirts made all by Bison. And you can use this code PINTHEGAS 2024 and get 10% off all your stuff at Bison. If whether you want a Bison hat, a Bison shirt, whatever it is, listen, all I'm saying is don't miss out. Go get you a Bison suit. Trust me, you will thank me later. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, what an honor it is to have my friend Rick Glover on the podcast. And welcome. But listen, before you say anything, those of you who don't know, Rick actually made our new logo. And yeah, it's been an absolute honor.
Nice. Yeah, I got some that's definitely a passion. I had a graphics design, I guess, background in a much longer ago previous life. So I still like to do it for fun. And my stuff is out there sneaking around when you don't expect it. You don't realize it. So I know there's things on Juju suit, Avery suit, others that I threw together for him. But that's their stuff, and I love it. So I'm excited. But yeah, you're welcome, man. And I'll tell you, it's a small little investment in this because there's not a lot of podcasts like this out there or things that can actually highlight and spotlight this series or motorcycle racing in general, even from the grassroots minis all the way up through club racing and even into Moto America, and then abroad, over in Europe and whatnot. I mean, you've had such a wide variety of guests. I mean, it's just some of these other ones that are run, they're not going to interview people like me, right? So I am absolutely blessed to even be here and chat with you about this stuff. So and share what I know. I don't know if I can do that. Does it work on mine?
If you have a Mac, yep.
Well, I got a Mac. There it goes. I think if I do the woohoo, it doesn't do balloons.
Dude, man, look, sometimes I can get it do like the thumbs up, and I had a balloon go one time, but I'm not sure what kind of hand gesture I did to make it happen. But anyway,
I don't know.
Yes, it's kind of cool, right? So, but yeah,
I'll just sit here and start doing like motions, look like an idiot, and that make everybody laugh.
Well, everybody knows me. I'm very vocal and I'm very motionless too. So even in real life, I'm the same way. But listen, dude, so this podcast is absolutely special and amazing, people. It's different than my normal podcast. This podcast, we're going to talk about what it actually takes to start your child getting into road racing and the journey up to where Rick is right now, all the ins and outs and everything. And I can't wait to get into this. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So don't miss this. Go ahead, Rick. Yep. There you go with Coop.
No. Look behind you. Look behind you.
Oh, there. Yes.
Turn around.
Oh.
Get your water.
Get my water. So look, my wife saves the day. So big shout out to my wife, Nikki Simcoe. Yeah. But listen, Rick, before we get into this whole journey of you and Coop and the ins and outs and the wonderful journey you guys been on. I want to start out with how you got involved in motorcycles.
Oh, yeah. Me, like everybody else, when I was in high school, before I even had a car, I had a bike, rode some dirt bikes. I mean, it was an old, God, 70s CB200 that I rode back and forth to school. And, that was my magic carpet to escape and get away from the house and get out. And then, just like a lot of people over the years, just started riding and did a lot of street riding. I was your proper street squid, just like a lot of people. And, over the years had a variety of bikes. And what's interesting is ultimately back in the 90s, late 90s, I had a CBR 1100 Blackbird, and there's a online forum. Actually, this would be in early 2000s, but there's a online forum, cbr1100xx.org, the old PHP forum style. Like that's how you used to communicate before social media. And it was real heavy there. We used to do meets all over the country. And then through the 2000s, started doing a couple track days. And then that crew said, hey, instead of just meeting in the mountains and ride, why don't we organize a track day? And ultimately we started in 2009, doing private track days with this group, 20, 25 people of our closest friends, all of us, who think we're fast and we are not. But getting out there and playing, and honestly, I call it Racer XX. It's out there, but it's, it's 2009. We've been doing a Jennings GP ever since. So I think we missed last year because of, unfortunately, my schedule with all this racing stuff and Coop, it was just way too much. But yeah, it's gotten to the point where we rent the track for 2 days in early March, and it's actually right before Daytona weekend, which kind of hinders attendance a little bit. But still, I mean, you get out there, get proper track time, and of course, just always been into motorcycles. So when my kid got old enough, then we brought him in, and we can get into that at some point if you want to. But yeah, I've had everything from Hondas to Kawasaki's dirt bikes. I did some dirt bike racing, amateur racing in my 20s. Locally, just basic stuff. Again, wasn't fast. Thought I was fast, but I wasn't. And then, I've had an unhealthy obsession over the years with Italian motorcycles. I've had an Aprilia, had an MV Agusta, had a Ducati Hypermotard, which, by the way, is probably my favorite bike I've ever owned. But yeah, man, that's just always been about two wheels. In fact, my wife and I, when we were dating, she's Canadian. We started getting to that point where we're doing the long distance thing, and we said, hey, let's be we're gonna get serious. Let's have the talk, right? What are your absolute must-haves? Here's my must-haves. Can we live with that? And she wanted a family of her own. I had already had 4 kids from my first marriage, so I was like, okay, that's cool. I'm like, I can't leave Florida. And oh, by the way, I have a motorcycle in my garage, and I will always have a motorcycle in my garage. I might have multiple motorcycles in my garage. And if there is a day when I don't have a motorcycle in my garage, it's because I'm waiting for the next motorcycle to be in my garage. And don't ever, ever expect to change that. And obviously she's a race mom, so she was all in on that stuff. So
yeah, dude, it sounds like my wife, right? Because when my son we were coming up with names. Obviously, everybody knows Hayden Rossi, right?
Yep.
And at first, I was like Valentino Rossi, because I was this huge Valentino nerd, right? And my wife's like, absolutely not.
No.
Rossi, I'll think about, right? He'll get made fun of, right? So I was like, well, what about Hayden Rossi? Because Nikki Hayden and Valentino, and that's a cool name, right? So she did. But funny story real quick about that is everybody knows my boy Rossi Moore, right? And his dad, Steve, which are just some of the most beautiful people you're ever going to meet. Steve has a similar story on how he come up with the name with his son Rossi, right? So we was talking on the phone, bro, and that's how we just instantly clicked and hit it off. So yeah, it was awesome. Cool. So let me ask you this:
Rossi was down at Bushnell a couple months ago. I think he had done some practicing and whatnot. So just a real nice kid, and he didn't race with us with SFL, but he was real helpful. I think he was helping Julian and Avery or something like that, messing around, getting them ready and helping them get out on the track and stuff. But he was a real nice kid.
Yeah, he's absolutely, dude. I seen him in Atlanta, and the first thing he did, he gave me the biggest bear hug in the world, dude. And I was like, yeah, he's Absolutely, dude. He's a legend, just like Coop's a legend, just like Avery Dreyer, just like Ellen. I keep telling everybody, you guys are in trouble because Ella is coming. But listen, we're not here for that. I just wanted to put that out there.
I'd love to come back to that topic before the end of this podcast.
We will.
I love those kids like they're my own, and they are something special. And she's something special. So
absolutely. But listen, Rick,
Yeah,
Rick's got a couple comments, man. We got Carrie.
What's up,
Amco
Carrie?
says, "What is up, Rick?" And then
my
man,
son Coop loves her boys. Boy,
Really?
Jason Cole. Yeah, Jace is 5 and Cole is like 3 or 4, and they're on the track, bro. I mean, it's crazy, those boys, but they love Coop to death, and Coop loves that. Every time we come to the track, he's like, I got to go find Jace.
I love it, dude. That's what I love about our circus, man. You meet some of them, and you guys know me. Well, when I say this, none of us are strangers. We're just friends that haven't met yet, right? So it's just that whole, yeah, man. So listen, my man Aaron Cannonberry, all the way from California, said, "Man, this is going to be mega. I've been wondering about this for a couple of months now."
Oh, good. Well, hopefully I can impart some wisdom and share what I know, and be really humble and honest about the stuff I don't, because if I was writing a book and it was 10 chapters, I'm probably through maybe 2 or 3. So, so I got a lot to learn, but for all those that are trying to get started and get going, I think I got a pretty good handle on what it's going to take. So
absolutely. Coop is already a legend, and you know that I've been saying that. So Coop is absolute legend. And look who else we got up in here with us, man. The legend himself, John Ludwig.
Nice,
my man.
John's my boy.
Yeah, dude, he's my homeboy too, man. I can't wait, because when I see him, he's getting the biggest bear hug he's ever had in his life. So you hear me right now, John. He says, "Sweet, some entertainment for my ride home from work."
Nice. I'll try to keep you entertained. So John and I have some special connections, and I won't divulge because I don't want to share a secret. But we have an unhealthy obsession with some reality TV that would probably embarrass us if I told everybody. So.
That's all right. We can talk about this off camera for sure, because I got to hear this now, Rick. You done spilled the beans. Absolutely. Listen, we got our friend Chris. What is up?
What's up, Chris? And although the family's all joining, man, I'm getting a crowd today. I love it.
Dude, I love it too, man. And we got Clayton Adams. He has one. He says, "Is there any bikes you regret owning?"
Yeah, Aprilia SX V550, and I got it before they
changed the black sealant.
The black seal, the orange seal, and all this other shit.
Yeah.
I ended up running it at Jennings, and I popped the motor on it, and I had a guy right there at the track said, "I'll just buy it off you." I'm like, "Just give me cash," and I sent it home with him. So, but the sexiest motard there is out there, it is a gorgeous bike, but she was not fun. My Mille R was a blast though. That thing was fun.
I actually owned the SXV 550. Had a 2008, and in the orange sealant had been done. It had the black sealant. It had like 2,300 miles, and hands down, probably one of the bikes I regret getting rid of. But at the same time, I don't, just because it was so high maintenance. Like every 2,500 miles, you had to pull the engine out just to check the valves, bro. It was a real race bike. But listen, when you rode it, at least mine, I had a great experience. It was absolutely just a rape date. I mean, that's all I can say. It really was. It is. So, and then we got Heather. Heather says, "Hey Rick, we love you."
I love Heather and Sam and Tiff. They're awesome.
Absolutely. Listen, guys, I'll get to everybody's comments. We got a lot of stories to tell, so
we got stuff to talk about.
Right. So, Rick, let me ask you this to start it. Did you envision when you had Coop this vision that you guys are doing this journey?
No, that's a great question. So for those that know me understand this, like I said, my first marriage, I have 4 kids, 4 daughters, daughter, and then twin daughters. And they're older now. I got my oldest is 29, and I'm a grandpa, and with another my second one, my 27-year-old, with a grandson on the way for my second one. But and my twins, they're grown up. All 4 of them are married. And then when Michelle and I met, like I said earlier, she's like, "I want one of my own." So we had one. I met I checked the box, and that was Addison, who's now 14. And then we had an oops-ish, like it was a try, not try kind of thing. And it was like, oh boy. And then it turned out to be twins. So if you're counting at home, that was 4 girls to start. And then Addison was girl number 5. And then a second set of twins, which is Riley and Cooper. So Cooper's a twin, and he has a twin sister. So 6 girls, 1 boy, and then, which is a lot. But the thing was, I had a boy. which I love my daughters to death. And but after years of Barbies and princesses and polka dots and all the stuff that go with girls, which I adore that time with them. And they did their own sports, but I finally had a son, and let's go be boys, right? And he was Coop was ridiculously shy. I mean, even to the point where his twin sister, like in preschool, we had to separate him from classes because she would talk for him. She told the teachers, Cooper wants a drink. Cooper wants this. He wouldn't talk to anybody. You put him in front of an adult and he shuts down. And, we tried soccer 4 weekends in a row of me taking him out the soccer with the lawn chair and everything else like that. And he's like, okay, I'm going to go. I bought him the shin guards and everything else. And he ran out in the middle of the field and he stood there for 45 effing minutes, 4 weekends in a row, didn't move, same spot. Every so often the ball would hit him and whatnot. But baseball, we did a little bit of that same kind of thing. Just wouldn't go. And then we got him a little go-kart, like one of those drift carts at Christmas for the cul-de-sac. And he just, like, he had, how people that can drive with their ass, like they understand, like the thing was designed to slide and spin, and he was counter steering and everything else. Like he had control. And I'm like, well, let's go do karting. Went down to Anderson Race Park, which we race at now, but they weren't doing bikes. And got him on one of the kid carts, and Matt down there was his first coach, and he responded, like he took to it. Long story short, that didn't quite stick. And then one of the guys at our Racer XX events had made a mention that there was this SFL mini GP that had started up. And, about 3 or 4 or 5 months after we kind of got away from the kart thing, he was up at Bushnell doing one of his dev days. We showed up. Mike said, hey, how you doing? Here's all your gear. Here's a little 50cc motorcycle. Let's get him put it on. Got him all dressed. He looked at me and said, Dad, get out of here, disappear. I'm like, all right. So I hid behind the truck, I'd done so many track days, so I know what it was like. It's all exciting. And I'm watching him go, and Mike takes him 20 minutes later, come back, and he's riding a motorcycle. 20 minutes after that, George Rivas, who I don't know if he'll watch this or if he's on now, but George was his first on-track lead follow coach. And just like any of our newbies that come out now, he just putzing around, started raining, he crashed once, he passed somebody on the front, like just all the emotions and everything else, we got into it. And we're like, hey, that's it. We still wouldn't really talk to anybody, but he listened, right? And this was the first big breakthrough. So I'm like, yeah, let's get going on that. So we're awesome, going down that path.
Yeah, it's funny how my son's the same way. He don't listen to me, but somebody else will tell him the same thing I just got done telling him. He'll do it, and I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Dude? But you want your V-Bucks.
Well, that's a big thing for later. But he would listen to me back then, and it was like he wouldn't talk to another adult. But Matt in the karting, who ended up being your friend because he ran Anderson Race Park, which we went to with South Florida Mini GP now for the last several years. And he is an amazing guy. And then, of course, Mike was his first one to teach him how to ride with SFL. And he just connected. And then, man, over the years of racing, just has come out of his shell to now. It's like I kind of wish he'd just go back to being quiet and shut the hell up sometimes, like just nonstop.
Sounds like my boy, right? But again, Tom's such a thief, man.
It is.
All you parents will understand that quote for sure, 110%. So. Yeah. Okay, Rick, you guys show up to the wonderful thing. Everybody knows about SFL Mini GP because I talk about them all the time. I run the logos on my shirts. They're on my leather suit that's coming.
Sorry, I was wrong side. Old logo, new
logo. Dude, they're absolutely the best. Juju, Michael. I talk about them all the time. But listen, so you show up his first time. After the first day, where does it go from there?
So from there, it's calling Mike about 100 times, which is amazing because I'm sure he got tired of me calling and asking a whole bunch of questions. But he didn't. He's amazingly patient and he's really passionate about this and cares. But South Florida Mini GP was our gateway in. There are a lot of other mini orgs out there. Not all of them obviously offer what Mike offers as far as getting you onto the track for the first time. So it's a little more difficult maybe with some of the others. You got to show up with the stuff you need. But with Mike, like you pull in, you pay him some money, for the day, and you got a 50cc, CRF 50, and you got leathers and you got boots and you got, we had got him a helmet, and then he provided the gloves, and we get out there and you start practicing and you literally start racing and teaching them. And, they do development as well, start working with them and getting them better. But it's just a matter of, honestly, once they learn how to ride, throwing them out there on the equipment. And, one of I'd say the early mistakes I think I made even in the first season was, thinking too much about the equipment, worrying too much about getting my own stuff and whatever. If you're trying to figure it out, you got a kid that, Coop was like 6 or 7 at that point. So he was still small, and he was too small for like a 110. So, I mean, it was 50. That was it. That's what he was going to do. But, you got some kids that show up there kind of in the middle, and the parents don't know, do I want a 50? Do I want a 110? Or you got the parents that show up thinking they're going to put their kid on an Ovale 160, first time out. But what's nice about with Mike is you rent it for 3 or 4 rounds, right? And try a couple different bikes. If you got an older kid that's maybe 11 and wants to get on the 125, put them on the 125. But leveraging that ability to rent one of Mike's bikes is huge. Now, if you don't have that, then, if you're up in so I don't know if you all know, so South Florida Mini GP started when Mike moved down from Jersey, and there's New Jersey Mini GP as well, and they have that same kind of culture and attitude that we have down here, and they're an amazing org. But I can't remember if they rented bikes or not. I think there's a Mini org, and there is in Ohio, out in California. I don't know if they rent the bikes. So the key there is probably getting online and to South Florida Mini GP. And if you're not in the area, start asking that crew, what you should get started on, and then listen to the advice, and go that way. But, more than anything, I could say a kid that's just getting started, don't go past, depending on their size, a CRF 50, a KLX, or a CRF 110 if they're a little bit bigger. The 110 has a centrifugal clutch. It's easy as hell to ride. You just put in gear and go. Because I'm gonna tell you, they're gonna get out there, and the parents are gonna think they're gonna be fast, and after a couple races they're gonna be quick. Our kids are fast, bro, and they are next level stuff. And you'll realize really quickly that the new rider doesn't need all the fancy stuff. You don't need to spend all that budget on trying to figure out exactly what tires. Get a good set of tires. We can help you with that. You don't need to go worry about gearing. Just run your stock gearing. You'll be fine with that. You don't need to go getting all kinds of clutch levers and, all this other stuff. You just get the basics, get started, get out there and ride. That's the big thing. So,
yeah. So talk about the early years, exactly what you just said. Parents should just rent a bike. But if you're not in Florida and you're at that stage, like Rick said, 50cc, start them out on 50cc.
Yeah.
Seriously.
If they're small enough, we have one of our families, the Swartzes, Kenzie, I think she's just turning 11, but man, if you looked at her, you'd think she was 7. She's just a tiny little thing. So she can still ride a 50. Once they start getting into that kind of 11, 12, and their body's getting bigger, they can still ride the snot out of the 50, but it's in the stock class, they're just too big, right? So getting on the 110. So you just kind of got to gauge that. If they can get on the 110, they're comfortable riding a motorcycle, those two bikes are really the best starting point. Because if you can run fast on those, because I'll tell you, our kids, after several years of riding on the 50s, we got kids on the 50s that will run a lap time on the 50 that are faster than half of the 125 field. Like they're insane. And then put them on a 110 and it's lights out there. They can't even touch them, right? So there's a lot of years, and that's what we did. We our first year we ran 50s. Second year I picked up a 110 and grabbed that for him and started progressing on that. And then honestly, we kind of bounced around a little bit. And the Ovale started getting really popular, but Coop was kind of a slow progressor, and so it was really focusing and paying attention to your kid and really understanding what they are. You don't need to throw too much at them. If they're not running podium pace in those classes, there's no need to go throwing them on a no volley. All you're doing is spending money on a cool bike that's really making you feel good, and it looks like it should be badass, and they're not going to be faster. Right? You get fast on a CRF 50, you get fast on a CRF 110 or a KX 110 or KLX rather 110. You're gonna then you can start getting there. So
yeah, absolutely. I could not agree more. So what the early days, let's say the first 2 seasons of you guys racing an SFL Mini,
yeah.
what have you learned, and what advice could you give to the parents out there looking that's getting into that versus what you did, right?
Best thing I would say is just get a good bike. So we covered that. Make sure you get, with somebody like Leathers. I know Bison sponsors you guys. That's awesome. I know them. They're a great crew. Coop is sponsored by Envy, so Darwin, who sponsors a lot of our kids as well. They're great, but he'll get custom size leathers. You can find used ones. You can keep using mics, right? If you happen to be down here, but get a decent set of leathers and boots, and just go out and get track time. Spend a lot of time at the track. Go out and practice. Let them ride around. Let them do dumb shit. If they want, if it's quiet and they're out there and they're goofing around with their friends and popping wheelies and whatever, let them do it, because all that stuff starts to translate into just getting more and more comfortable on the bike. But go with the basics. If you have a truck and you can haul the bikes, that's a good thing. Otherwise, get a basic little trailer, have a basic set of tools, and a couple spares, right? Grab a couple levers, especially if Jules is going to ride your bike, and and some pegs, and like I said, and tires. And people get wrapped around the axle. Some of the new parents on tires, and they're like, "Well, I got to get this, and should I get the super soft? And is the Mitas or the Dunlop or this better?" I'm like, just like literally the most basic, like a Shinko tire, even, or I think a Shinko makes it for the 50s. I can't remember, but just you can get a Mitas tire. It's like, well, super soft medium, like just get them a medium tire. They're not going to be running fast enough. Trust me. It is rare that a kid will show up on the track and outride, the bike itself. So, or even the equipment. I think that's the biggest thing. We see a lot of it with the parents that jump in that are new and come onto the page and start asking, what gearing are you running for this? What gearing are you running for that? It's like just stock. Don't do as little as possible. Get the kid out there on the bike. And that's what we did for the first 2 to 3 years, is just try to get out there and learn, I think, more than anything.
Yeah, seat time's the best time.
Seat time is huge, and making time on the weekends. I mean, the other thing is accepting the fact that your kid can only practice. For most people, your kid can only practice at the track. It's if you're fortunate enough to have a parking lot near you and you've gone to one of the South Florida Mini GP camps, which I will say are invaluable. They work on breaking down the rider to their basic components and building them back up, from circle drills to figure 8 drills and whatever. You can take those, and if you video those drills along with what the coach is either saying, or if you're Scott Cunnison yelling at the kid, because Angry Santa is our circle drill king. You want to listen to actually what they're saying, so that you're not just out there and letting them do circles, right? And you're not correcting the stuff, but all that basic riding stuff and coaching is what you're gonna get. If you don't have that, like an SFL Mini GP, then you got to hopefully go out there and then find the most experienced rider that's out there at the track that is an adult that actually looks like they've raced and know what they're doing, and start getting some coaching for your kid, at least early on, to take a look at them and follow them around.
So speaking of that, when did you realize that getting Cooper some outside coaching would really benefit him? At like what stage did you sit back and was like,
that's next level stuff. So believe it or not, I probably waited. Well, I didn't wait longer. I just couldn't find anybody that was going to take him to the next level. I did recognize that, the relationship I have with my kid, and it's different for every parent. Some kids respond to dads that are very direct and whatever. Coop's the kind of kid that shuts down. And if I get, if I go coach mode, right? So I can either be dad or I can be coach. if I try to be both, I'm going to do neither one great. I'm going to either be, you know, an okay dad to him that he needs and that support, and I'm going to be an okay coach. And then at some point, I'm like, okay, I've coached as much as I can coach. Like I can teach. I mean, I did some mini GP racing myself. I was in the 40 plus class. I wasn't overly fast. You know, Pat and Sam Clark and those guys waxed my ass all the time, but I got out there and had fun. I knew what I was doing. Right. I was very predictable. I was very smooth. I know the race lines. I know what to do, but I just didn't have the balls to do it. I had to show up on Monday to work. Right. So, but yeah, so then I'm like, I kept looking, and that's when Chris Miranda, who you had that show with Coop and Chris, that got him to show up. And Chris on day one connected with Coop, and he started seeing things like, he was like, yo, you're doing this here. You're being, you know, you're not breaking into this corner. You're not on the gas soon. Like stuff I couldn't even see, like, you know, from the side. He could see it all the way from across the track, much less getting on track and riding and pushing him, you know. And, you know, just to give you an idea, you know, running at Anderson Race Park, that was the first place that we went to with Chris. And Cooper, I think, was running whatever lap time he was running. When Chris was done with him after the second time he worked with him at that track, he was 9 seconds a lap faster.
Bro, dude, that's huge.
Huge on a kart track.
Yes.
And on his Ovale, you know, in a few months, he went from getting lapped in a 10-lap race to fighting for podium, right, in a few months. And that's what getting a coach is. And it's got to be, in Rick's opinion, you know, you're gonna get a lot of people that are gonna want to coach your kid and provide input, and you gotta, and when they're early on, you can kind of take that and listen to it and whatever and pay attention. But at some point, you got to get to the person that really knows what's going on. You know, Chris was a racer, somebody that's an ex-racer or understands that sort of thing, and then can provide that advice to him. Because Chris could come in and be the coach. I could go back to being the dad. I could wrench. I could give him hugs. I could give him support. I could give him love. You know, and if I even try to, I could say something like your BP is bad in turn one. He would not say a word. Chris is like, your BP is bad in turn one. He's like, all right, and he fixes it. So, but getting that pro coach was a huge step for us. And so he's competitive. He's running, you know, he's running at the top. He has the capability of running on the top. He doesn't as consistently as others. I mean, he's always been a natural progressor through the ranks. You know, he jumps plateaus. Some kids just get it, right? They learn and they skyrocket. They're not afraid of anything. Coop's very tactical. So, and Chris pulls the best out of them for that. So.
Yeah, dude, Chris, if you guys don't know, if you missed it, please go back and watch the podcast with Coop and Chris, and with just Chris.
Yeah.
For real. So let's take it back to the first 2 years, Rick. Like we talked about, you know, the struggles and showing up at the track, but what was the cost? Like, what was the cost? Yeah. What are we looking at to start out for the first 2 years?
That's a great question. So you first and foremost, make sure you start to write it all down in budget. I was fortunate enough for the first 2 years that it wasn't that big a deal. After his second race, I went and bought a brand new CRF 50 and a brand new CRF 125 for myself. It's the first year of fuel injection. I was all excited, whatever, and it was fine, right? You know, I put Pirelli like tires because I thought I knew better on the 125. I didn't listen to anybody. They were garbage, you know, but anyway, I spent all the money. I didn't have to, but you know, the idea is you got to get a bike. So for him, it would have been the 50 and then ultimately the 110. You know, you can pick them up used, and then, you know, it's a simple wheel swap. And if you hang around the group enough, I mean, every year some kid is coming off one of his bikes and moving up a class, right, where he's outgrown it and he's moving on. So there's always a 50 or 2 or 3 or 110 coming available for sale, you know, throughout the season. You know, pick one of those up that's ready to go. And so there's the cost of that. Fortunately for me, I was doing things. Well, in our first couple of seasons, we had more tracks, and several of them have closed, unfortunately. So we got limited access now. But so it was really the travel cost. You know, a couple $100 for entry fees for the weekend, and then and that was, that was really it. So you figure, you could find a good 50 for, I mean, hell, you can find them for under $1,000 if you really look. But let's say, $1,200, maybe $2,000 for a properly set up 125. I'm sorry, 110, and that's your equipment. Or if you're not sure, you start the first season and you rent, from Mike, and you don't have to buy anything, right? You have to pay the rentals, but you could do it that way as well. And then let's see, the gear, when they're little and they're not growing really fast, it's not too bad. You can get it sized a little bit bigger so that they can kind of grow into it. So that wasn't bad. It's getting way more expensive now that I've got a kid that's it's like 13, is about to shoot up, and he's going to grow. He's going to go through probably 2 suits in the next 6 months, I would bet. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, that's the thing. You can get started really, really easy and cheap. Our first year we were at Bushnell, and we had a race in May, and my wife sat under a 10 by 10 tent, right? So show up, you probably have a tent and some fans and whatever, but they were dying. We had some family came over, like there was 8 of us huddled around this 10 by 10 tent, and she's like, no, I don't want any more. So we ended up picking up a little toy hauler travel trailer, a really cheap one, a Coachman, but you don't have to do that, right? You can get some fans, a little generator, and go. So I don't know, maybe you can run a season when you even buy in bikes for $5,000 to the first, for a year, pretty easily, I would say. So it doesn't get expensive until you start buying Ovales and, Two Strokes and
right,
and now the Milwaukee, which, even that, it's like the NSF 250, and then you start looking at race bikes. I mean, things are getting exponentially harder, but
yeah,
for
sure. So let me ask you this, starting out, just for everybody listening that's absolutely interested, how many sets of tires did Coop really go through for the first?
So the 5110 won a season. Like you can go through a set a season. I guarantee you, unless your kid is really, really, really pushing it on the 50, you can probably get a set of tires to last the whole season. Nice. Unlike, we ran Moto America Mini Cup on the Ovale last year, and we were doing, 2 sets of tires a weekend, a set of Dunlop, set of Pirellis. And, just because you had to have that edge, every kid was running 1010s, right? So, it's really economical. I don't want to scare people away, but it lures you in. And so what you got to realize is, okay, do you love it enough to where it's like, okay, I'm going to go that next step, and I'm going to go start spending more money on motorcycles. I'm going to go find a used Ovale. I'm going to go find, a KX65 to practice on 2 strokes. I'm going to go, get, whatever it is you want to go get and move up to the different classes. So that's when it starts going. And then you start looking at the next level and going from there. So,
all right. So yeah, it's a long process, and it's a lot to think about, right? It really is.
It is. And I think that's another lesson for any new parents, is to take a couple of years and just go and have fun. Michael preached this, and he taught me this early. It's like, if we're not having fun, then we shouldn't be doing it. A story from Mini Cup last year. I won't call it any names, but there was a kid. We were sitting at the fence. We were watching some of the other classes, and one of the kids that was in Coop's class was sitting there talking. There was like 4 or 5 of them hanging around. He's like, I'm gonna get a 4th for my dad, because that's what he wants me to do. And he was dead serious. And I looked at Coop. I'm like, bro, I said, the first time you ever tell me that you have to get a result from me, I said, is the day we hang it up, right? It's this is for you. You gotta be doing it for you. You gotta want that for yourself, and you gotta want it and put in the work, and it'll come. But if you're doing this because you think it's for me, then we should quit right tomorrow. So.
No, I agree, and I'm sure you run into a lot of dads out there that are like that, growing up, pushing their kids really, really hard.
There's some, yeah. I am fortunate, I think, in this sport, at least, gosh, maybe I'm just blessed, but as South Florida Mini GP, the parents are amazing. Like, they're just, all of them are there, I can't think of anybody. I know, not that I would call them out, but I can't think of anybody that's like that. I mean, they're just, everyone is very pro family and whatnot. It's just when you get up to the, I saw it at the Moto America level, at the mini cup level, there's maybe had that additional pressure and people that come from other orgs and other places, and I saw a bit of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I see a bit of it too, but it's part of the game we play, especially when you get to that next level, because there's a lot of stress that comes along with going to Moto America, right?
Yeah. So, honestly, Chris, I mean, the first 4 years could be wrapped up in I could have just left them on the 50 and the 110, and then once we got the Ovale and I felt he was ready to start shifting, we went from the CRF 110 to the KLX 110 because it wasn't centrifugal clutch. And like I said, Coop was a little bit slower learner, so I had to get him using a regular clutch and shift. And I bought both those bikes at the same time, and I literally got rid of the other ones and said, hey, now you're kind of going that next level. And then he was getting faster on that. And that's when we added Chris, Miranda to the equation to start taking to the next level. And that's now where we are. It's where, after working with Chris for a year, then it was like last year, we're like, Moto America Mini Cup, they're running mostly, actually they're going to run all East Coast rounds for Mini Cup. And we're like, hey buddy, you want to go do Mini Cup, right? And that's where I would say was the biggest eye opener for me from a budget standpoint, and what it's actually going to cost and take to go to that next level. If you want to, like I said, you want to stay in club racing, whatever, you can do that forever and do it very economically. But when you want to start moving up, you really got to start thinking. And my season last year for running SFL as well as Mini Cup was probably 30 to 40,000. And that's been mostly a travel. Like we pulled so I have the RV, right? So we actually upgraded, which I'm not including that in the cost, but hauling that, to Barber, to Road America in Wisconsin, from Florida to New Jersey and Carolina and Pittsburgh. I mean, my diesel bill, I think, was probably $12,000 to $15,000 for the year. It was crazy, and then, we were running $500 worth of tires, and then race fees on the weekends, food and everything else like that. And so, and then, you throw in the SFL, we had bike issues. I had motor swap. Like it's, it's legit. And then you're putting in the time, and you got to start considering work and, making sure you have the time off, and whatnot. It was a lot. And, but I'll tell you, it was a great experience ultimately for us. We learned how to ride big bikes, and what it took to run in a pro org, because, Moto America ran, their Mini Cup program and their races like they did, like with the pros. It was all quick start procedures, so you had to learn how to be on the grid on time. You had a time limit. The horn rang. You had to get out there. They opened up pits. You had a minute to get out. You do your sighting lap, come up to the grid. One team, one crew member on the grid to get them on their spot. They go and they do a warm-up lap, come back, and then boom, light start, everything. So it was very structured, very organized, and it really taught us what it's going to take to go at the big level.
Yeah. And as Jason Ringler, what is up, my man? Yes, they did do a Canadian round.
He did.
Yes, it was awesome. Rick had told me about it, and I was like, this is amazing, right? Just to do dedication, right? So
yeah, when we'd finished it, we ended up ultimately we did 5 of the 6 Mini Cup rounds, and Coop was running top 10 in points, consistent. We had a really miserable weekend, our second round at Road America. Like he got hit from behind in race 1, couldn't start because he couldn't pull the clutch lever with his hand after the accident in race 2. Next day we got him sorted out. I had a mechanical, my fault. Like I had changed the oil, and I'd forgotten to empty the oil overflow. So when it started cycling, it filled and it started smoking. It wasn't leaking. It was just leaking out of that. So I had to pull him off the grid. And then in the last race, midway through the race, he went wide, or actually went inside in the last turn, caught the grass, swung out wide and hit the barrier, Supermaned over it. And we were done, like 0 for 4 weekend after the first round, where actually he had like a 4th, 5th, and 2 6. Like we were doing pretty good. But Ultimately, we did 5 or 6 rounds and the 5th round at Jersey got rained out. Like we went all the way up there for that. It was a monsoon and it just got rained out, and we couldn't make the next round. And then at that point, we're like, well, we're not in the hunt for going to Spain or anything like that. There's no chance. So we decided to go up to Canada and ran with the Canadian Mini Cup. So it's literally like the U.S. Mini Cup. The Canada had one in Ottawa, and they were running 3 races. And I had one of my best friends. I'm like, let's go up. Let's just go have a good time. So and got to run with them. So it was a year of chilling with my kid and traveling the country, and it was amazing.
At proper mega. Listen, I would love to be able to do that, right? I'm such a listen. When you have kids, time is a thief. We've already said this.
It's they like that, bro.
It facts, right? So I spend when I'm not podcasting and I'm not at work, I'm with my boy. And literally, if I can't go, or if my son can't go to a place like no kids are allowed, guess who else ain't coming?
Yeah.
This guy right here. I don't care who's there, what's going on. That's just who I am, right? I value our time together. I value building this bond in this relationship, hoping that when he does get older and he discovers girls, because we know what's going to happen and all this other stuff, it's not, see you later, Dad. I'll call you in 3 weeks, right? He'll always want to.
Well, you know what? Even if it is, I believe in my heart of hearts that there will come a day when he's going to look back on this and realize how special it really was. When I'm gone from this world, and he's got a family of his own. I mean, he's going to have a foundation of doing really cool things and know that he had a special childhood, and a dad and mom that loved him to death and that helped him out and let him go chase some dreams. So it's
110%. I can't listen.
And I'll tell you, these kids are cooler than we ever were, bro.
Dude, way cooler than we ever were. And listen, me and Rick are getting ready to start pulling out the tissues, you guys, for real. Like we're getting get deep up in here. But no, it's real, Rick. You listen. This is the whole reason everybody knows it. This is one of the main reasons why I do this podcast, so I can leave something behind for my son. When I'm not here, he can go back and I'm YouTube, whatever, right? It's and also because I love all you guys and the future of our sport, man. And this is why I do it, right? It's for this and to get people informed. Like, I love this conversation. This is absolutely amazing. And you guys, this is actually Rick's idea, right? And no bullshit.
I was hoping it wasn't too dumb. And if there's anybody, I don't know how many people are on watching. I mean, maybe it's like probably 3, but if
we got more than that.
Yeah, but if there is anyone out there that has questions, I mean, I'm happy to answer any questions. And then afterwards, if you didn't have time here, reach out, I'll share my socials and whatnot. But I'll tell you, the big thing is, like I said, just listen, show up, ask questions, ask for help. That's probably the biggest thing advice I can give parents. And when you ask for advice, listen to it. And if you're not sure and you're getting 4 questions, 4 people giving you 4 different answers, ask Ludwig, right? Whatever Ludwig tells you. And I think most of the time, I can give it a line, and there are a couple others, but definitely Ludwig. Just take me out of it. Ask Ludwig, and if you got 4 different answers, whatever he's saying, that's what you should probably go do. But yes. Keep it simple, man. Keep it simple with the bikes. Don't overcomplicate it. That's like, I think, the biggest mistake. And then let your kid go have fun, and then find proper training. Let them, once they get comfortable out there and they're starting to see results, get them proper training.
So let me ask you this: going from a 50 to a 110, now we're in an Ovale in a Milwaukee, right? So the cost difference. So everybody knows that next level step. What does it take? How do you get there?
The Ovale, if you can find a decent one used, you're going to pay, $3 to $4 grand for that. KX65, you're probably in the 3s, maybe 2 to 3 if you find an older one, but getting them sorted out. The Milwaukee, I will tell you, a Milwaukee, a full package with an operating running bike, you're probably talking, I'm going to guess 8 to 10, maybe even 10, 11, depending on what kind of package you're getting. I got really, really lucky. And I don't mind sharing this because I spend enough money. I don't mind sharing that I got I paid $6,500 for mine, and that includes the money I spent to get it working. and it came with an old R6 that the guy wanted to package up. So, I got very fortunate. But an NSF 250, which is like that next level up for the Milwaukee, is you're going to spend 12, 13 grand for a new one of those. And then you're probably between, you want to start getting into telemetry and dashes, and then the maintenance schedule on it can be crazy. I mean, I think a piston is $500 for just the piston on the NSF 200 or 250, if I remember correctly. You're definitely moving up there, but both of them are proper race bikes. And so maybe the bigger question is, why the Milwaukee, or the NSF? And where we are, we took the strategy that says, hey, we're not ready to go to Junior Cup. He's not old enough. What do we want to do? Do you want to do Europe and whatever? I'm like, man, I don't know. He's showing great promise. Like, he's going to be fast. We've done track days on the Milwaukee, and he embarrasses anybody in intermediate on a 1,000cc Ducati. It's insane. But him running a 125 lap on a 250 at Jennings, and Juju's probably running a 22, on the same bike. So he's got some work to go. We don't have yet what it takes to get to Europe. But what we do have, and this is the advice I got from Chris, from one of his friends, even from Mike, is we're focusing now on just learning how to ride on the big track, how to race on the big track, and doing it on a GP style chassis. This is our plan. And this is where I'm in uncharted territory. I don't know if this is going to be the right plan, but the plan is learn on a GP style chassis. You can translate, you can jump on an R3, you can jump on, a Ninja 400 on a production chassis, and you'll be able to ride it fast. Being able to ride on the edge on a production chassis and then jumping to a GP chassis, I am told that that's way harder, right? At least running it at the edge.
Yeah.
So we figured, okay, let's go learn on a proper chassis, on a proper bike, on a dedicated race bike, and then we'll go from there. So that's kind of where we're at. We've done 7 days this year. First day, I threw him into novice, which he kind of hated at first, but I'm actually like, he had never been on the bike. He has ridden Jennings, but he had never been on this bike. So we got him out there, and he dropped into the 34s, which is like respectable intermediate class time. And that was it. We were one day done. He got, kind of broke the seal, so to speak. On that. And then we came out with Chris, and he went to a 7 seconds, like in the next time we went out there, like boom. And now he's down to 25s, and we got a lot of work to go. I mean, we see where we can make time, but we're like, okay, he's getting out there. I mean, he's carrying speed. He's doing all the things you need to do on the bike. And so our plan this weekend is to do our first WERA big race. We're going to Cycle Jam up at Road Atlanta. He's never been to Road Atlanta. I will tell you, I'm a bit nervous because it looks like we have the potential for some mixed conditions. Honestly, my goal there is to get him through rider school, make sure that he's properly licensed and everything else like that. Hopefully get some dry track time, and then just come home safe. If it's wet or mixed conditions, I may not throw him out there. Right? We'll have to see. So we're taking a little bit of a gamble running up there, but we're going to keep focusing on training on the big track. We're going to go to do a track day at Homestead later in June, and then we're going to go do WERA at Barber at the end of July, and then I think we're going to run 3 rounds of Pan Am Superbike down in the southeast here at Roebling, and then a couple at Homestead. So this is a kind of a, even though I'm here telling everybody, it's more of a fly under the radar. Like, I don't just throw him out there and not know what he doesn't know, because he doesn't have his coach with him. So it's learning. Let's understand what it takes to ride on the big track, and we'll keep using South Florida Mini GP as our little track, our small bike training ground, right? And just have fun. So.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
But this is where it starts getting into my uncharted territory, because like I got a plan for this, and it's expensive, man. Moto3 tires for a weekend of racing is, that's not cheap. And yet here I am. I know I'm still on the small end of the curve for cost, even with the Milwaukee, and it's getting pricey. And I see, we obviously I'm great friends with John and Aaron, John Ludwig and Aaron Dreyer, and I know what it takes to I've talked to them about what it takes to go out there. I'm super close with Mike. I know what it takes to go over to Europe, and what the costs are like. And then the biggest thing for me is right now it's dad and lad. It's me. I don't have anybody else. And so unless I'm, joining forces with one of, the other dads of the groups and we're there at the same time and I can maybe get help, but to go, I have limited skills, right? I'm an IT guy, so I can wrench, I can do all the basic stuff, but I can't build a junior cup bike, right? And, to get there and do it on my own, it's like, I'm probably going to end up throwing them out there. And even with my best effort, it's going to be probably less than top 10, right? It's going to be down in the lower order, even if he's fast, because these guys on proper bikes and proper teams, got it. So it's a lot of thinking to do. This is kind of the uncharted territory where I don't know, where I'm very humble and say, hey, I'm really, concerned to see where we're going to go with this. So.
It's so expensive, but one thing you can always count on is me. I mean, I can't help it with money, but all the love and support right in the podcast. But
yeah,
Pat Sheridan said, "I got your back, bro."
Pat's my boy. Yeah, I need to just maybe I just get him like an old guys racing, and I'll offer like gas money, and I get them like a feed them, and right, they can get Pat and Sam and them, and we get them to come up with me, and we'll do like old man pit crew or something like that. I don't know, but it's a lot to start thinking about, right? Your tire budget's going to be probably I wouldn't $2,000 a weekend. I'm going to guess. Again, I don't know, just from what I've talked to people about. It's a lot of money.
It is, so like, again, what's the future, right? Like you just said, but have you thought about trying to get any type of sponsorship? Like, I mean, I don't even know how about going that myself.
Yeah, it's another area where I really don't know. I do know that those that have it, I think, are fortunate. I know you got to pound the ground and go do a lot of work, and it's another area where not from lack of effort, but lack of time. Like I said, I have other kids. I got a daughter in competitive cheer. I got a daughter in competitive volleyball. I got Coop in competitive. Like my wife and I, from January, the first weekend in January until the end of April, we didn't spend a weekend together. Like, actually, there was one where one of us or both of us were traveling for kids sports. So then, during the week they got their school and they've got their training activities. So you're go. And so pounding the ground and trying to drum up money in a market or in a sport that doesn't offer money, right? There's not, you got to be a top rider and, to even get, people's attention. So, I'm trying to work, with some of my local folks. I've, Ducati of Tampa, which Next Ride, they've been, I got a guy, Marcus, there that's been really helping us out. He does, he provides me a lot of support and assistance, but trying to get them, trying to find some. But right now it's, Envy Race Leathers has taken care of Coop on his leathers and helped us out a lot there. Him winning the 110 championship, which was sponsored by Envy, got me a free set of leathers, so that helps. But it's just, it's a small piece of the pie. I don't know where I'm going to come up with $25,000 for like a junior cup bike, if that, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's the big struggle, finding those big sponsors. I don't know which door to go knock on, and then it's finding time to go knock. That's the toughest thing. I can tell you, if anyone's listening and watching, I have a wonderful kid. And that's not just bias. You can ask anybody in the paddock. Coop is, he would be an amazing representative for anybody that wants to throw dollars his way. We're still learning. We're not winning every race, but we're up front and we're getting attention. But he's a likable, kind, respectful, competitive on track, but will be the first to congratulate anybody that wins or does well and beats them. And when one of his buddies crash, he's one of the first to run over there and ask them how they're doing and make sure they're okay. So it's he must have got it from his mom. So
I don't believe that. He definitely got that from you, man. Come on, man. Yeah. So listen, I met Coop. I actually got the honor and the privilege to finally meet Coop in Texas. It wasn't very long. It was brief. Me and Rick got a big old hug in. We did a little chat, a big old high five to Coop, but I seen it in his eyes. It's just like I am when I'm there. I got to go get this autograph. I got to meet him. I got to talk to him. So yeah, it was awesome, man. Listen, dude, this has been absolutely amazing and a lot of fun. And listen, you're right. I know Darwin. He is an absolute amazing person from Envy Race Leathers.
Yeah, Darwin's great, and Vortex gives us some good reason. And by the way, for anybody that's a racer, and you want, reach out to Vortex. They're very, very easy to get on their racer program, and they give you really decent discounts. I mean, if you're buying sprockets and spending $65 a sprocket, their discounts alone will get it down like into the 30s, like high 30s. Like that's huge. Stuff that you have to go buy anyway. So, I highly recommend clip-ons and that sort of thing. I mean, they're very active in the race community, so they're not giving us money, but man, they're making their prices to where it's easier to buy stuff, a little more affordable. But yeah, if anybody has a bucket of cash, I mean, I give free hugs, buddy. I mean, I'll even just squeeze a butt if I have to, but it'd be great.
I love it, dude.
Yeah. Aaron is so funny, man. It's like I always tell John, I'm like, bro, I said when Aaron comes here, I'm gonna give him a hug so long that it makes him uncomfortable. And so
I'm gonna bring him in real close. Come here, Aaron. Come here.
I love Aaron. I love Avery and Ella and Juge and just all the kids, man. They're just, I mean, Isaac and Trent, Andrew, Cam, Jamie, like all of them that have been on the show are like our kids, like nieces, nephews, children, and we were the first to take care of them. But there's some proper talent down here, man. I'm telling you, there's some really fast kids and whatnot. So
absolutely amazing, and I've been honored to meet most of them, except for there's some I haven't met, Juju and Mike. I can't wait to meet them. But
you haven't met them personally yet?
No, I have not.
Oh wow.
No, I can't wait. That's why I said I need to plan a trip so I can come down there, and I want to hang out with the weekends with
dude. You come on, when we're racing at Anderson or Bushnell, just come on down, stay at the house, bro. You got free lodging. It's an hour to the track, either one of those two from my house. And if we're staying at the track and my wife isn't with me, I mean, there's a place in the RV, but at the very least, you just come hang at the house and drive there, and we'll put you on a bike. Just bring your gear.
You already know I am, because I got some fresh gear coming in. I can't wait. Yes. But yes, man, listen to everybody that Jason's like, yeah, absolutely. Talking about Coop. Coop is awesome with others at the track. He's fast, humble, always willing to help. Yeah. He helps my younger son out several times. Absolutely great young man. He is. I said it, he's a legend in the making. I mean, he is.
Yeah, we got a lot of them, man. We got between there's Coop and Juju's little brother Gabe is Grayson, but Gabe is coming up. He's moving up. He's fast as hell. And Cole Peterman, and like there's these kids at this next level that just went from running kids classes to now they're running adult classes this year. And you just wait. We got some that are moving in these kids. I'm just hoping I can find the funds and money and everything else like that to get them on a junior cup bike. And I don't know, man. I mean, if I have to do it cheap, where I just throw a junior cup bike and a tent in there and, some spares and put them on a stock, 400 just so we can run it. Maybe that's what we do. I don't know, but it doesn't feel like that's the right way to do it. He's just going to be running around in the back of the pack. So,
it's, I mean, I've never been in that situation, man, and I'm sure I see where it's especially since you told us the story of what it actually takes and the cost and the hardships and what's next. The future's unknown. Right?
You think about it. I mean, it's definitely a money game and it's a cost game. Look at the talent in Moto America that is that it, wasn't going to race and having a hard time racing. I mean, you got Matty Stoltz, who's freaking one of the most awesome guys out there, and he almost didn't have a ride. You got a Rocco Landers with that kind of talent that almost didn't have a ride, right? Even last year, like he's struggling to find a bike, and that kid, man, can win on just about anything. So there's all this talent out there. It's because, unfortunately, in this industry right now, it takes some backing and cash, and you have it or you got to go find it or you don't. And so, I promised my wife that despite as much as she supports this and loves this racing and will be behind everything we're doing, I told her we're not going to bankrupt the family doing it. Right. So, if he was, if at 13 he is running, Avery Isaac and Juju type speed and everything else like that, and battling them, which might come in the next year or two. But I don't know, maybe you're getting some different attention, but he's going to be there. He's a hell of a rider. So we threw him on a 600 at Jennings last time we were up there. My buddy had one. He's like, "Can he ride the 600?" I'm like, "Oh, Jesus Christ!" And Chris was there coaching him. He's like, "Yeah, he'll be fine." I'm like, the first time ever, I got nervous, and he ran out and just did really slow laps, and then for 10 laps in a row, dropped the second lap and ran expert times. By the end of the session, I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like it's so Mike builds proper racers. The program works. It
does.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely it does. I can't say like I said, everybody already knows. If you listen to this podcast, you hear me say SFL Mini GP all the time. You also hear me say R&D Racing, Juju, Jake Marsh. I mean, if I literally sat here and named all my friends on the podcast, it'd be like another 20 minutes.
Well, I'll tell you, if I ever win I don't need to play because usually the lottery is just a tax for people that's bad at math. But man, when it gets up into that, multiple hundreds of millions, it's like, yeah, it might be worth $20, right? And so, but if I ever won the lottery, you'll know it because I'll be breaking ground on a South Florida mini GP headquarters with its own racetrack with multiple configurations that we can run a training facility. That literally will be how I spend the rest of my life. I don't need houses, don't need cars. That's exactly what we're gonna do. So,
and I'm gonna sell all my shit here. I'm gonna move down there to South Florida.
Hell yeah!
And I'm gonna be in there, and I'm gonna be doing it too. I'll be podcasting with all the kids and the parents, and it'll be good stuff, man. Good stuff, dude. This was absolutely an amazing chat. It was very informative.
Well, I hope it was entertaining, at least to the rest of the folks, and enlightening. I don't want to scare people away from it. I mean, right now, I know that if I do nothing more than SFL and club racing with like we're a Pan Am and some ASRA, over the next years, and that's where we end up, our life will be full. So I think that's where the whole I don't know what's next and I don't know what to expect. Like, I've seen, I just watched with Curtis and Isaac, their first year in Moto America, and all just the little things that were mistakes that just got into the way, which is all not failures, just lessons learned. I mean, shit. I think Isaac ran, I think it was it Pittsburgh or one of those races where he ran where his triple clamps weren't tightened. Like he literally finished a race with his bars moving up in the tree. It's just little shit like that. I tore Pittsburgh. I actually tore Coop's bike down to clean the car, put it back together. It was 2 minutes before he went to get it out. And that's when I thought to twist the throttle and it was jammed. I put the slide in upside down, like, fuck, straight it apart and get it. I got him out. But, it's just these little things when you're in a hurry trying to do stuff and that you learn. But, and I'm looking at what's ahead of me and I'm going to need some help. So it's a lot, but
it is.
I mean, we're going to keep rocking and rolling. We're going to keep being around, and we're going to keep being part of this race community. And whether we're supporting it through club racing or we make the show, that'll be determined. But we're not going anywhere. And I love seeing our kids. You mentioned Ella earlier. That girl is she's something special. She really is. So, and she's a great kid from a great family. Their little brother Carter is one of Coop's best friends too. I mean, he's a fast little kid. You haven't even heard from him yet. And obviously Avery's fast. And I don't know. I just love them all. Juge, Bam Bam, I mentioned Gabe, Cole. We got the Schwartz family. They got kids that are coming up with Bryce and Kenzie and Jamie and Cam. Jamie's brutal.
I know.
She is an assassin on track, and Ella's the same way. Like they're all sweet. They're like, look at me.
They're double trouble.
Like that track, you're dead. They will
yelling
out. Like they're ruthless.
Ask Cam. That's how his
I know, bro.
Shaved, right? That's how his head got shaved. Yeah,
I know.
That's awesome.
Coop shot stock 125 in the last race. Coop had got the start. He was second behind. It was Grayson, Coop, and Jamie on the start. Jamie went into turn 3 and just freaking threw it inside of Coop. Like, get out of my way. And she's like, welcome to the big leagues, right? Welcome to the adult classes. And showed him something. But they're great. They're really great kids.
I love it, man. Yeah, it is such a great SFL mini. Like I said, you guys, what are you waiting on? Go down there. If you live in Florida, what are you waiting on? Sign up. I mean,
And I keep talking about the kids too. There's a lot of guys that will show up and say, "Hey, I want to go race. I've never raced, but I've ridden my motard. Should I bring my 450?" I was that guy. I had a 450 Supermoto, and I was going to bring it out to camp. My first time. Like, oh, that is the dumbest thing ever. Listen, just grab a Grom, grab a TTR 125, grab a Z, and throw some good tires on it, and go learn, like some bar sliders and some axle slide. Like, it's very minimal prep. Put a plate on it, tape your mirrors or take them off and whatever, and go play. And you realize how slow you are and how much you have to learn, and you'll have so much fun. That's so much fun. And come out. We have classes for anything from a 450 down, 450 Supermoto down. We got a class for it. So
I love it. Pat Sheridan said Cam's still salty.
Cam Coop loves Cam too. I love their family. Is super cool, man.
Keith and them. Yes, dude.
I think Pat told you the story. Him and I met. Like, the first time we ever met was on track at Anderson when he took me out.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Dude, I started feeling bad. He felt so bad. He apologized to me probably 100 times, and to the point where I was feeling bad that you're apologizing. Like, bro, it was fine. I got back up. I don't know if he told the story. I got back up and rejoined the race, and I finished. And he took himself out. He was done. He like clocked his head. So I'm like, hey, I finished, bro. So you're good.
That's awesome, dude. Guess who's watching right now? We got Avery the Lap Slayer Drainer watching
Avery,
right
my boy.
now. Absolute legend.
A little tough weekend this weekend, but dude, I tell you that watching him in the rain was insane this weekend. When you were coming up through that pass in the wet where you went inside one, like from our view and that camera view, I'm like, you're gonna freaking pile into the. And he came. It was like a Matrix style. Like, it just, I don't know. It's like some magic. And then just around the outside, it was sick. It was sick. But I'm not gonna lie, bro. I love you to death. But when I watched Ella throw it inside and Charlotte's Web, I cheered a bit. I cheered. I love both you guys, but oh my god, I was like over the moon. So, and I was gutted for Isaac leading and starting to gap the field and just lost it right there as well. But it's his time's coming, man. All these kids are coming.
Yep, they are. Absolutely. And then
PC was up there. He had a rough week and he crashed twice. Logan's one of our kids. He took the double. His dad Scott is also an amazing
proper guy. Mega. Yes, dude. RTR Racing, Lit Logan. Absolutely.
Yeah, Ryan Snooks.
Ryan, my homeboy. Yeah, dude. I'm friends with all these guys. I love every single one of you guys. You already know it's so awesome.
I think at this point I watch Moto America more because I know so many people now and I just love them to death and they're just awesome human beings.
Right.
So Kevin Rodeo's just a great dude, and I've asked him questions offline. And he answers anything I ask him, and helps us out. So it's just everybody. I don't think I've gotten to somebody yet that has said no, right, or won't help.
Yeah,
the king is Ludwig, though, bro. That guy will help anybody.
Yeah, John's absolutely an amazing human being, and it's an absolute honor, John, if you're still listening to this, to have you on my podcast when you did come on. Can't wait for part 2 of that. And listen, we also got my man Steve Grigg is in the house. His son Riston Grigg races too, and he's an absolute legend. Have you watched Riston Grigg race?
I haven't.
Oh, you guys need to go look him up. He is I'll
get the name for sure. I'll check it out. Yeah, my viewing time is typically limited to Moto America, MotoGP, and then British Talent Cup. And I know like Julian he's got time to watch everything, bro. Those guys watch every series. It's crazy.
I mean, this guy does too. So I can't lie. I'm BSB, Moto America, MotoGP.
Isle of Man's on our bucket list too. So
me too. We'll have to make this happen. And listen, dude. Speaking of the Isle of Man, the race is coming up next week. So I don't know what you guys are waiting on. You need to go sign up for the TT Plus app. It's like $25. I mean, $25 for 2 weeks of the most beautiful racing you'll ever see in history. And on top of that, they have great series Between the Hedges, which is just an absolutely amazing. So yes, dude. Listen, this has been awesome.
I don't know
Go
what
ahead,
I
Rick.
can offer everybody. I can what I can offer to anybody that wants to come out is, find the big red, pop-up tent that says Coop Racing. And if you need a tool, you need a help, you need advice, you need some recommendations, you need to know where to go, you need to talk to somebody, you need to ask a question, ask and send me a note. Join the SFL Mini GP discussion page, ask us questions, and we pay it forward. I'll be there to help anybody. And even if we end up not being in the show, which I hope we will, we'll be there.
We'll be there.
But, we'll be in somebody's corner, probably multiple people. So that's the big thing.
Oh yeah. I'm in everybody's corner.
Yeah. Mike's not getting rid of me, dude. I'm in it, all. So I provide him as absolute much support in the back end as I can, so.
Oh, I hope y'all feel the same about me, because I ain't going nowhere. I support all you guys. You guys are stuck with me till I die, and even then, guess what? The show's still going to be on. So, yeah.
What I can promise a new parent is that it'll be some of the best times you'll ever have in your entire life, and it'll be some of the best bonding moments you'll ever have in your entire life. And even if you don't go anywhere, that you spend 2-3 years racing, you're going to never, ever forget this experience. And I'm not knocking baseball and football and those travel sports, but those things, you go, and I know parents get engaged in certain levels, some more than others, but just sitting back and I don't know, it's just the racing community is it's different, man. It's different. You're there for the weekend, and the kids are running around the pits. It's a lifestyle, and it's a community, and it's a whole family, right? It's amazing. I love it. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
No, I wouldn't either.
Best time of my life, man. 56 years old, just had a birthday, and I YouTube. Happy birthday, because I missed your birthday.
That's good.
I needed to start.
Happy birthday to you too, but you're good, man.
But dude, 56 years old, father of 7, and I'll tell you, I got a lot of great memories and other great milestones. But just the culmination of this last few years has been, I don't know, it's worth it, and it's worth it.
The best ever. It is. I can say the same. The last year and a half since I've been doing this has been. Yeah, I feel you, dude. I'm right there with you, Rick, bro. I am right there with you. But yes, listen, dude, we're an hour and 20 minutes in.
Nice.
I know. I told you it's going to go by quick. So listen, we're going to do a part 2 of this, because we still got so much more to talk about. I hope you guys enjoy this. But before we get off here, I have got to ask my homeboy, Rick, my favorite part of the interview.
Let's go.
Personal questions. Let's get into it. So let me ask you this. Tell us something we do not know about you, Rick.
Something you don't know about me. In a previous life, I actually, my first wife and the family, we owned a chain, a 4-store chain of pet supply stores called Dog Lovers in the Tampa Bay area. And I actually did public access TV with my ex-father-in-law, who's since passed away. So literally we're on TV, promoting like pet products and bringing on pet guests and everything else like that. So I have a past in television, even though I was kind of a co-star. So I'd say that's maybe the fun thing you don't know about me. So.
I didn't even know about it, but I love it, dude. That's why I love this, right? So what is your worst habit? Tell us that.
My worst habit? Oh, Jesus. I have so many. Probably, I have several. The one that drives me the nuts the most is analysis paralysis. I like to research the shit out of everything, and I do it sometimes to the point where if I'd have just got started, I'd have been halfway done instead of, and figured out along the way. I'll go back and forth on things, which it serves me really, really well in making big decisions, because I'm very tactical about it. But there are little things where I waffle, and then it's a week later I just couldn't have it done. So I'd say that's my biggest fault.
So favorite movie?
Favorite, dude, I got many, man.
I know everybody does, right? It's kind of a broad question.
Like if you pick a genre, like
all right, let's say favorite action movie.
Action, Heat with Robert De Niro
and Al Pacino.
Al Pacino.
Val Kilmer, yes, sir.
That movie is sick. I love that movie. Man, I could watch it 100 times.
Such a long time. I'm gonna have to rewatch that. That's a great.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm the Gladiator. I love that one. I could watch that a bunch of times. But no, Heat's probably my go-to if like action kind of thing. So
I love it, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. So listen, everybody knows I'm a big audio book listener. I listen to a ton of audio books, but Rick, as you know, I only read one book, as everybody knows. I say it all the time, by my good friend Andy Ibbott, right? Listen, you guys, performance writing techniques, even if you're Valentina Rossi, trust me, this book is very informative. It's by Andy Ibbott, which is an absolute legend. If you guys don't know who he is, you listen. You're in the wrong game. You need to go look him up. It's like if I mention Joey Dunlop and you're like, who is Joey Dunlop? I'm like, yeah, you just stick to NASCAR. So
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it's here nor there. So yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I don't do many audiobooks. I do listen to podcasts. I tend to revolve around politics and I'm kind of I'm a right of center, as far as my political alignments, but I get driven nuts by the extremes of the other side. So I just like to listen to what's going on in issues and whatnot a bit. Obviously I listen to you as much as I can, but from a book standpoint, I mean, I'm my favorite author is probably Clancy. My favorite book from his is Without Remorse. That was a fun one. And I don't know if you're an 80s fan, by the way, you might like this. Are you into sci-fi books at all?
Yeah.
So have you read Ready Player One by Ernest Cline?
Everybody, you're like the 15th million person that said, dude, you need to check out Ready One.
I've read Ready Player One twice. Actually, I read it, and then like a year and a half later, I picked it back up and read it again. It's the movie was a Spielberg movie, but I guess because it had to appeal to a more modern age. If you read the book and you're a child of the 80s at all, Gen Xer, you're gonna love it. It's a fun, easy read, and very entertaining. You'll enjoy it. So.
Well, I'm definitely going to put it on my audiobook form too, because I know they probably got it in audiobook form.
Yeah.
But this is the book I'm reading right now. It's called The Ragged Edge by Stuart Baker. It's all about the Isle of Man TT. It's a brutal story. I'm
kicking myself because I walked over to the old Vale booth at Austin at MotoGP to talk to to talk to the new rep and everything else, because they changed hands from Cretu, from Brandon. So, they sold the business and moved it over. So I was talking to the new guys, and Hopper was over there with Joe Roberts and whatever. And I'd already talked to them in the pits. Mike knows him, so we got introduced and stuff like that. But yeah, he had his book leathered and he had signed copy, and we were in such a hurry to go, I forgot to grab a copy, and I'm kicking myself for not getting a signed copy. But I heard that book is amazing, and I really want to read it. So
listen, it's highly recommended. I tell everybody that, dude. Leathered, to me, it is. I have listened or read pretty much everybody's who races motorcycles book.
Yeah.
And John Hopkins is absolute. His story is. I love what I love about it is he don't tell no bullshit. He puts it all on the line. Like, I've never read any motorcycle racers book say I smoke weed and ride a MotoGP bike. And I'm thinking, what the fuck? Are you kidding me right now? Like, this is absolutely. But the honesty, the sheer honesty in the journey is.
Well, I've been unfortunately been around some folks that have dealt with addiction, and I'll tell you, I think that's the best way, is being open and honest and knowing who you are, what it what you got. And that's a hard thing to deal with, and just mad respect for anybody that gets through that in their life. It's tough.
100%. It is. And speaking of that, dude, if anybody's out there struggling or going through anything, please reach out to me. I'm here for you. Not just with motorcycles. You guys can call me with anything. We can talk about aliens. You want to talk if aliens are real? We can have this conversation. You want to talk if the earth is flat? I'm gonna look at you like you're crazy, but we'll have this conversation, right? I'm just saying, I'm always here, for anything. It's absolutely amazing. It's always good to have people count on me.
Yeah, man.
For sure. So let me ask you this, man. Music, Rick. I listen to the music. So
yeah, I'm I can. It's easier to say what I don't like. I'm not big into rap, though. If it's the vibe and it's what everyone's doing, then it's like, okay, that's no problem. I can tolerate it. I never got into country, though. My wife's been listening to it. But again, if you're at a bar at a party, like, I can listen to country. But I'd say I'm more like rock, 70s, 80s, like Coop's like a AC/DC fan, because he loves AC/DC. But alternative. But I could turn on Taylor Swift tomorrow. I could turn on dubstep and get into it, like some Skrillex or some Deadmau5. I'm all over the place, man. If it's I guess if it's got like a just a boom boom boom, like it just the music gets into you, then I'm into it. So
Yeah. So no Young Dolph for you.
What's that?
No Young Dolph. You don't listen to Young Dolph? No, I'm just.
You know who the fuck that is, bro?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Young Dolph. I listen to Young Dolph, but dude, you know who I do listen to a lot, man, and people look at me like, really? Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
I love Frank.
Yeah,
Sinatra.
dude, some old
Yeah.
Frank, some old Blue
Frank's
Eyes.
awesome, dude. Some Sublime, some Frank, some Bob Marley, dude. I'm all into it.
You say Sublime, Frank, and Bob Marley?
Yeah,
dude, that is an eclectic mix, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, for real. Just put it on shuffle.
Red Hot Chili Peppers is the band that I
Red Hot.
for some reason never liked, but now love. Like I don't know why. I just
and
like,
Pearl Jam. Are you kidding me? Yeah, absolutely. Who's your favorite comedian?
I would say I like storytellers. So probably Louis C.K. and like a Ron White are kind of my top two. Louis C.K. I just like him because he's like a don't give a fuck kind of thing, and he's hilarious. So.
One of my favorites was George Carlin.
Oh, Carlin was great. I saw Carlin live years ago. So
lucky, yeah, right. That's awesome, dude. And listen, we got Darren Rodriguez up in that.
Oh, Big D.
What is
dude?
up,
I got Coop got his undersuit, man. It looks amazing. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Absolutely, nothing but love, man. Yeah, him and Envy. If you guys, Envy.
Yeah, just arrived. We gotta, we gotta get measured. We're gonna see if we can get him into an airbag suit because he's got a new airbag ready set up with the Helite. So we're excited about that. So.
Congratulations, that is awesome. That's what I gotta do. My suit I got coming is airbag ready. I just don't have the airbag yet. That's another expense and on the list. But let me ask you this. Ask everybody this: Star Wars or Star Trek?
I like both, but I mean, dude, I'm gonna go with Star Wars for sure. So
what character would you be?
What? Fudge. I'm Boba Fett, bro.
Boba Fett.
Yeah, man. Kind of. He's a kind of a. Well, I'm not really a badass, but he was kind of a badass, and so he's got like a good side and a bad side. Yeah. It'd either be Boba Fett or it would be. It'd be Darth Vader after like Luke made him happy again.
right. Yeah, I always like the Mandalorian. I always forget about him.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah, he's pretty badass.
Yeah, for sure. So, listen, favorite food, Rick. I know that's another broad question. Yeah, I love Greek, Thai food, and all that stuff.
Dude, we are foodies. I could eat just about anything. But dude, if you made me a steak, potatoes, some asparagus, vegetables, like every night, I'd be a happy man. I could eat that the rest of my life. I could do the same thing with tacos though too. So.
Dude, so do you like spice? I love spicy food.
Spice. Yeah, man. Too. Love spice.
So on the hot ones, do you watch the hot ones on YouTube?
No, I don't. I can't do spice to the point where it like burns my mouth and makes me annoyed. Like I like heat that builds, but it's flavorful. Where it's hot to where you can't stop eating because it's so good. That's the kind of heat I like. But those guys eating like freaking Carolina Reapers and stuff like that just to burn their face off like that, you're idiots. Like,
listen, I am that idiot, right? So yes, every once in a while I am, dude. I ain't gonna lie. Like I get the last dab, which I mean it's hot, but it's not like super wet. The hottest one I had was man, my buddy. He's like, because I was eating all this hot shit, right? He's like, dude, I got you something. I said, because he brings over. It's called the Death Nut. I ate 6 peanuts and they're 13 million Scoville. Bro, I'm going to tell you right now, mistake, facts. And I'm just going to leave that there. For like 2 weeks, I was not right. Just put it to you like that. It was a bad time. Celebrity crush, Rick.
Man, right now I don't have any. Back in the day, it was like I'd say like a Selma Hayek. There was what's her name? Susanna Hoff from the Bangles. Remember her? Bro. Yeah, she's like
the 80s were awesome. 80s and 90s, early 90s, absolutely was awesome. So let me ask you this: are you watching any current series on like Netflix or Apple TV or anything you could recommend to anybody?
What did I just? You know what? I just watched Fallout. Have you seen that? It's based on a video game. It's definitely interesting, entertaining. I recommend it. I've watched Breaking Bad, the full season, end to end, probably 3 times for the greatest CTV series ever to put on TV. You know, as I don't mind this. I don't know, showing my softer side. There's a on Apple TV. There's a series called Lessons in Chemistry with Brie Larson. I was sick. God, it was about 2-3 months ago. Like I was just fever, chills, and whatever. And I cried. I literally watched that entire series in one day, just laying in bed. It was really good, really good. A little bit of love story drama, but it was done really, really well. So I highly recommend that one. But man, I'm trying to think what else. So absolutely loved Westworld. Did you ever get into Westworld?
It was great.
Westworld, I think it was 3 seasons, right? Season 1 and 2 were awesome. Season 3 to me kind of went like they lost the edge because season 1 and 2 was like you didn't know what time you were in. Like you didn't know if it was current, past, whereas that season 2 was just kind of like, everybody's out and they're just angry and dealing with shit. So, but incredible series. And Game of Thrones, except for the freaking finale. Screw that.
Dude, the finale was absolutely horrible. I was so pissed off. I hadn't even rewatched Game of Thrones since then. I'm like, you know what? Forget that shit.
Disappointed in that.
It was. So, dude, another one for Apple TV, if anybody's got one, is Masters of the Air. It's absolutely
okay. I'll check that out.
Yes, dude, you got to check it out.
I'll check that out.
Well, my dad, he's a fighter pilot, so
super cool.
Congratulations to my dad on his retirement. He just retired at 65. So
Papa Simcoe, congrats, dude.
Simcoe, that's right. My man, he'll actually be in Jersey with me. He went to Jersey last year.
Nice.
And he was blown away by all the love and support.
That's awesome.
He was just like, this is absolutely, I had no idea. It was great. So he's all into it. So it's good stuff, man. Good stuff. So do you have any superstitions at all, Rick? Are you a superstition person?
I'll share with you a little soft side. I only have one, and ever since starting racing, every time, I would say, with the exception of if he's in a hurry and Chris gets him ready, but every time Coop gets ready, he just learned how to buckle his helmet like a year ago himself, because before he went out on any session, any practice or whatever, our ritual was I slide his glove on and I buckle his helmet, tell him I love him, say good job, proud of you, and go out. So that's, I don't know if it's so much superstition as it is routine, right? That's the one thing that we do. So, and it's like, I finally told him, like, you need to learn how to buckle your helmet because you got to start going out on your own. Like I got sometimes things to do, but we all, that's our thing. So.
That's awesome, man. It's great. It's great to have you.
Not really superstitious about anything. So
okay. So let me ask you this, dude. If you could have one superpower, Rick, what would it be?
Teleportation.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah, I'd be able to go wherever I want, just done.
Where would the first place you teleport?
Freaking bank, man, right in that vault. Grab me some race.
Right, here it is. Facts. I wasn't thinking that, but the first place I'm going is the TT. I'm like, the TT's getting ready to start. That's exactly where I'm going.
Nope, money. Buy some race stuff. Buy some bikes.
Right. Well, I could do that too. I'd go to the TT. Actually, I'd hit the bank at the TT or in UK and then the TT. Well, whatever. Yeah, that's a good. So let me ask you this: what's your spirit animal?
Oof. Oh, man, dude, I'm a dog. Like, just fucking dogs. Dogs are the absolute best. They're just the best. They're loyal. I'm loyal to a fault. It's hurt me over the years where I trusted too long. I accepted too long. But I think that's what dogs do. Like, they just love unconditionally. I think until they're hurt, and then they don't, and then they'll like F off. And then, but when you're out. For me, that's kind of like, it's all in. I'll let go. And then when I'm finally done with you, then you're not in my life ever again.
Yeah. That's a good one. I love dogs too. They are. They're so. I like dogs more than I like most people.
You could be gone for 3 days. You come in the house. They're insane. They love you. You could go out to the mailbox and come back in the house, and they're insane. They love you. Like, they just.
You're married for 15 years. You walk in the house. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing here?" Like, exactly. Wait, what? Don't I live here too? Only when I'm happy with you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We all know that story, right? Now I got a great wife. My wife's absolutely awesome. So, listen, dude. I usually ask, you know about the TT, correct? Like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, I got 2 questions for you. It's our last questions, and before we get off here, I'm gonna let you give all your shout outs and where we can.
Sure.
like and subscribe and all that good stuff. But listen, my first question is in 1961, Honda won their very first TT race. Who was the rider?
Honda did?
Yep.
I don't know it that well, bro. I'm good at trivia, but I don't know that much. Is it like
Just take a guess.
somebody I would know?
You should, yeah.
Giacomo Agostini.
No, Mike the Bike Hellwood.
Dude, I was gonna say Hellwood. No freaking
Yes,
lie.
he was the first rider to win with a Honda at the TT.
Now I feel
Honda's first TT.
Now I'm mad that I didn't go with your first gut, right?
Always, you got to, because you'll regret it. Absolutely, you will. All right, and this is the last question.
All right,
and it is about the TT. So, in your personal opinion, who had the greatest TT ever come back? I'm gonna get the list is long, but I'm gonna give you two names to choose from: Michael Rudder or Connor Cummins.
Oh, I don't know, Rudder. Let's go with that.
Yeah, dude, Rudder did have some injuries and coming back. It was, but to me, just settle it, because I got asked this question.
What about Melky?
Dude, Milky Quail, dude, listen, dude, and big shout out to his son, Ilham Quail. He's we're in the works. He's coming on, so you guys stay tuned. But yes, Milky is absolute a legend. I'll never forget that crash. I was watching it and I was like, holy shit, right? But to me, the greatest comeback ever, this is my answer, would be Mike the Bike Hellwood. He's the only one that left and then come back after like 8 years or whatever and won the TT again. It's like, are you kidding me right now? Like, nobody does that.
Those guys are wired something special. It's kind of like it's similar to me to the motard riders on the kart tracks. I watch these guys on motard. I'm like, there's no effing way I would ever do that. Like, they're nuts, bro. Absolutely nuts, and just mega talent and balls. Like, it's crazy.
It is. It really is. Well, listen, everybody. Thank you guys so much for watching this podcast. Before we get off here, Rick, tell everybody where they can find the legend Coupe.
Sure. Well, for me, I mean, if you want to get a hold of me, it's on Instagram. I think I'm RRGlover99. Or, if you want to get the Coupe, it's coupe.racing.14. Facebook, it's Rick Glover. I don't know. There's probably 100 of them, but I'm the one with like red motorcycle shit. And then there's Cooper Glover Racing as a Facebook page as well. South Florida Mini GP or South Florida Mini GP discussions. Go there, you'll be able to track me down. I think that's probably the easiest. So
that's absolutely amazing. And before I get off here, I got to give my shouts out real quick. Big shout out to everybody at R&D Racing. I get the camera mixed up, and my buddy Jake Marsh races out there in BSB in the GP2 class. Dude, he supports Penda Gas. Dude, I'm a huge supporter of him. He has a club called Club 45. He's got some spots available. So please go out there and support it, because he's an up-and-coming legend. Big shout out. You already know what I'm going to say. The SFL Mini GP with Michael Carrera. If anybody ever, we just had this conversation. You listen to this podcast, wants to get started in racing, learn how to ride or anything, all you got to do is show up, pay a registration. He provides the boots, the helmets, the back protector, the gloves.
We had this model all over the country. We would have a crop of racers coming in. We'd be in MotoGP.
Facts. Best. It's the best we have in the United States. Hands down. That's all I got to say. Hands down. But big shout out to Juju. If you guys don't know who Jillian Carrera is, listen, go check him out. Got second place. Big shout out to him. He is an absolute legend. Big shout out to my man Bison, Robert and Tasha Lackey. Again, if anybody is looking for a custom leather suit, look no further than Bison. And also my man Tate, dude, from 64 Degree Racing sent me this undersuit, Rick. Hang on.
Oh, that's cool. Dude, there you go.
Dude, sent me this custom-made undersuit right here, and nice. I got this, the top and the bottom, which is
what's it say on the back?
Simcoe, my name.
Oh, Simcoe, got it. Got it.
Yeah, dude, it's absolutely. And I wore this several times on some street rides, and it's absolutely, amazing. And I'll put it to you like this: out of any two-piece undersuit that I've ever wore or try on, it's absolutely amazing. Keeps you cool, keeps you warm. It's Bison just did send me my undersuit. I can't wait to put that on and try it. What I really like about The Bison undersuit is a one piece. It's not a two piece. I got a
Yeah.
one piece Alpine Star RS chassis, but Bison's got a manhole, a man zipper.
Oh,
So you ain't got to take everything off. You just
There you go.
unzip, and you're good to go. What a brilliant idea.
Coop
Right?
likes the two piece for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, dude, listen, my whole life I've had a two piece, except for I want to say about 6 years ago, I got an Alpine Star one and then an RS Tachi one. And
Yeah.
my Alpine Star actually ended up getting a hole in it. The RS Tachi, it just never fit me right. It was like their large was too small, but their extra large was too big, right? It was like I'm in this like kind of happy medium. But yeah, it's absolutely amazing. So yeah, listen, thank you guys so much. Everybody that watched and comment. This is what I need everybody to do. And I don't say this enough, but I need to go like and subscribe to me, please. Whether it's Facebook, YouTube, wherever it's at, it helps me out a lot. And I really appreciate it. Nothing but love for everybody that watches and comments and all that good stuff.
Listen, I can't stress enough, grassroots racing is what's going to get the Americans into the bigger stage, and then grassroots podcasting and giving the attention that Chris gives to whether it's pro riders that are already in the show and in pro classes, or to, just race dads like us that want to share with you our story and see if it's entertaining to anybody. And hopefully, it brings you to the track and get you out there riding with us. I mean, just huge props to Simcoe, man, and you guys for doing this. I absolutely love it.
I appreciate it, man. It's absolutely my honor. But yes, guys, listen, we're an hour and 40 into this, and I told Rick this was going to happen.
Yeah,
I did.
We probably lost people like half an hour ago when they started listening.
Nah, man, dude.
I mentioned I like Taylor Swift, and I think Sam Clark is like, man, like he's going to take my man card away. My point is, I have 6 daughters, bro. You got to cut me some slack. I survived 6 daughters, bro. I'm going to get a little bit of girly stuff that I'm into. Just going to say, but
it's okay. Listen, I let my wife.
Sam, that wasn't for you. That was for Sam, so he doesn't bust my balls when I get to
okay. But listen, this is one thing I'm gonna tell people that they don't know about me neither. Is I let my wife paint my toenails to practice because she got this whole like kit, right? She's like, "Can I paint your fingernails?" I'm like, "No, but you can do my toes because I put socks on. Nobody can see them." So I let her do whatever she wants. So yeah, I got like colorful toes.
Good for you. Keep mama happy.
Keep mama happy.
Mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
Facts. And then we got Ride to Death in the house, man. I listen, Ride to Death, hit me a message on Facebook, because I don't know who you are, and you're always in here, and I appreciate you. He says, been watching the whole time. This was a phenomenal podcast. Can't say enough great things about Rick and Coop. So
bro, thank you so much.
Do you know who Ride to Death is?
Ride to Death is that Chris? Is that Chris?
Chris Miranda?
No, not Chris Miranda.
Christoph.
Christoph, yeah. Is that Christoph?
Yeah,
Ivanovich?
That's what he said. Is Christoph?
Yeah, that's Chris. He races down with us. He gets out there and runs around with the kids and stuff like that. So he's an awesome dude.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Look, Jason Ringler said I let that slide. I didn't hear that. LOL.
Which
I love it. But again, listen, everybody, thank you guys so much. I'm in this live video. Rick's down with me just for a second because I got to go eat. Mama's hungry. Got the text. So.
Yeah, I got my wife's out of town, and I'm literally Mr. Momming this week, and then tomorrow I got to go prep so we can go to Road.
Coop, come in and say hi. Say hi to everybody, Coop.
Hola.
Yeah, see, you guys seen the future legend right here in the making. Absolutely. So,
I will tell you. So this is a testament to. I know we're a long way. We got to go. You got to go eat. But last thing, so we go to Jennings. We start running out there, and dude, it's like lights out. There's guys out there on $40,000 motorcycles coming into turn 1. After the session, this guy comes in and says, "Hey, this is your son?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "I just want to tell you, I was going into turn 1. I've been coming here for 2 years. It was the best I had ever gone into one." He goes, "I set the corner right. I hit my marks. I was leaned over." He goes, "I hit the apex and was about to power out. And here comes this little shit on a 250 around the outside of me." He goes, and then it's gone. He goes, "And I decided to reevaluate life." So that's the kind of riders that SFL creates. So
absolutely,
they're all coming, bro.
They're all coming, and you guys stay tuned because they're all going to be on Pin the Gas podcast. That I can promise you. So,
yeah, man.
Yes, listen, This has been an absolute good time.
I'm glad.
Yeah,
I hope
it
everybody
is.
enjoyed.
They did. Absolutely, they did. Jason Ringler, you already know, hit me up.
Ace, yeah, his boy's doing well too, man. They're
Yep.
coming up.
And Jason Doss, you too as well. So yes, listen, guys, I'm out. Rick's out. Coop, tell everybody, see ya.
Adios.
You're not even in the camera, bro.
Yeah, there you go. Now do it again.
Say later, bitches.
Later, bitches.
Later.
And we're gonna end